Good morning, everybody. I am here with Sue Brayne, Astrologer, and my name is Gail Carroll, and I'm a tarot reader. And we have been going through all the major arcana cards over the last few weeks, months, and we are nearing the end of the Fool's journey with him. We've been looking at the 22 steps to enlightenment and taking the Fool on that journey. And today we are looking at the Devil, the Tower, and the Star. So we've just come off the back of lovely Temperance, all peaceful. And now we've been hit by the Devil. The Devil rides into town. And yes, so do you want to have a put the card up?
Yeah. Well, I love.
Let's have a look at what's going on.
Oh yes, let's have a look at the. Here he is. This is the Devil.
Yes, there he is. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I find this part of the journey really exciting because the Fool is really getting down and dirty with himself now. You know, he's had those experiences. He's hung himself upside down on his own tree. Understood about sacrifice. He's understood that death is about change and a natural part of his whole process of life, and that's part of the human condition. And he's had a lovely little rest with Temperance, a sort of a time of processing all of that. And now he has to face his fears. That's how I see it. He's been stripped bare, and he's kind of really learning the importance of doing his work, his inner work, and this whole concept that, you know, that we set limitations on ourselves. And I read I was listening to an amazing story about a young woman, and she had a terrible riding accident, 29. She was paralyzed from the chest down, couldn't move. Absolutely not. And she went through she had to go through the time of facing the Devil. And she came out the other side and was an inspiring leader and supporter of people with paralysis. So she overcame her fears and limitations. And this is what for me, this is what the Death card is, to understand the Devil, who we truly are. We have to face our fears and limitations. How do you look at this?
Well, I feel that it's the first time that the Fool has started to face outside influences. And what's interesting about the imagery is we've got the Lovers there again, haven't we? But in an entirely different setting. And again, they're not chained. They could move away from the Devil. What I found interesting, and I bet you didn't notice this, is when I logged on to the meeting this morning, the Zoom meeting, you get a passcode, and the last 3 digits of the passcode was 666.
I didn't notice that.
And you set it up.
You couldn't make that up. That's fantastic.
No, you couldn't make that up, could you? So I had a little wry smile to me that yes, the universe acts in mysterious ways. But yeah, the Devil he's there to lure us into all sorts of false beliefs, and definitely around money and material goods. And it is the thing about the Devil is he represents a feeling of being blocked, of being trapped, and being lured into sort of a false sort of outside influences. And this is where, after you say a period of temperance, a period of peace, the Fool now finds himself on this. We're getting towards the end of his 22 steps of enlightenment, but yes, clearly the Devil's rode into town, and
I think it's about our human fallibilities, isn't it? It's this sense if the Devil turns up in a reading, there is going to be something you're going to have to face about yourself that may be mirrored by somebody else in your life that isn't perhaps behaving really not very well. And it's about understanding and using that, and understanding that they could be representing your own fears, but you might not be owning them. So the devil really is just stop and just see what's coming up for you. What are you frightened about? What are your, if you like, what are you kind of, what's in your dreams at the moment? What are your, how are you limiting yourself? I'll put it that way. And then by facing the fear and doing it anyway, we start to understand that actually it's us who's in control of our life, not the external world.
Yeah. So it's all about control and deception, and yeah, he's coming, is as it were, rode into town to sort of mix it up a bit, stir it up a bit, and to see, and to test the fool, to see how far the fool's come. All this inner work, all this inner learning. You know, let's see if we can, let's see if we can prod him a bit and see how he handles his weaknesses and his outside influences. And like you say, when it turns up in the reading, it is about sort of stopping and taking stock of what really matters. I think what really matters from an internal point of view, because sometimes we can get caught up, I think, in the grass is greener, wanting new things, that treadmill of,
Yeah.
seeing other people, wanting more things in life, stuff. And we've worked so hard on our inner world. This is now about how important is stuff to you, and how much is it going to mess up all the good work you've done to yourself.
Yeah, it's about looking at other people and wishing you almost like wishing that you were them, that they've got more than you, and it isn't true, because only you've got you. Nobody
Exactly.
else has got you but you, and it's about owning who you are. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okie dokie. So
Okay.
we're going to put our lovely devil away, who's our great teacher. We love him.
Yes.
And now
Yes. Oh,
this is
oh,
the big card, isn't it, of the
the
pack? Really,
tower.
fulcrum.
Yes.
It's the
Do you know what? This is my least favourite card, and I was pondering on why it was, and
yeah,
I truly believe that none of us like change. It's And I think, especially as we get older, change is, we love the state. I've noticed more and more. I love the status quo. I love everything to be calm and even, and a kind of, although I do practice living in the moment as much as humanly possible, the thought that sudden change can come and suddenly hit you, and it's abrupt change, and it's change that you're not inviting, it can sideswipe you, that the tower, and I mean visually, visually there's a lot going on there, so
yes,
that's symbolically saying, beware, things are changing, and they're going to be abrupt, and they're going to come out of nowhere.
gonna
What are your thoughts?
take you out of your comfort zone. I think for me,
Yeah.
actually, for me, the tower represents the ego, and
Yeah.
that ego part of us that isn't satisfied with ourselves or with life, or we've been, God's forgotten us, or I'm such a victim out
Yeah.
here. It's
Yes.
and when we're blasted by something that is utterly life changing, and it's life before the event and life after the event, and often it's a horrible experience to go through, but often after the event you could be looking back in, let's say, a year's time, when your life has been absolutely splattered on the floor, going, do you know what? Horrible experience, but I'm so grateful for it, because now I'm here and I feel differently about myself, and I see the world in a different way. And I think the
Yes.
tower, when we're faced with these incredibly difficult experiences, it helps us to reintroduce humility in our lives, and
Mm.
the fact that we're part of the human condition, that we're all in this together, and
Yeah.
everyone probably in your life or our lives, or whoever's watching this live, will have gone through experience like this, and if they haven't yet,
Absolutely.
guess what, they will.
Yeah.
And it's how
Well,
you
yeah,
respond or react to it that matters.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think,
Yeah, I was just going to say, it certainly forces you to reassess your life, which is what you're saying.
yeah,
It and what's that saying about after the storm? What's the saying about?
well, basically, after the storm comes the calm. It is
Yeah,
this
and
sense of
what's
clearing the air.
mm,
And,
absolutely, and the
uh, yeah,
sun
and
is always the bright.
this could be a relationship. It could be being, let's say, sacked from a job. It could be the death of somebody close. I mean, something that shocks you, that
Yeah,
which is, as I said, which is life changing. But I would say,
yeah,
don't be frightened, because know that this is an essential part of your soul's growth. And I think the
yeah.
more open you are, the more engaged you are with your life's journey, as the Fool has been. The Fool probably can deal with this very well now, because he's got inner resources. He's resilient. He's understanding who he is. He's built an inner world. That really matters. If you haven't, you do get sideswiped. But if you are resilient, there is this sense, do you know what? It's an experience, and I will use this to the best of who I am.
So astrologically speaking, what do we know about it astrologically speaking? The
Um,
tower.
well, Pluto's what realm? It's the realm
Yeah.
of Pluto. It's
Upheaval,
Mars.
conflict.
It's Mars and Pluto coming together and just
Yeah,
going whack. It's got that, yeah, it's got that sense of help, help.
yeah,
Whoa, hang
yeah,
on a minute. And I think what it has, it's out of control. You're not in control of what's happening. And all of us want to be in control. So there is this element of control being stripped away. And again, and when control is stripped away, often the only thing you've got left is faith and trust in yourself, in yourself.
yeah.
And people always turn up in your life when you're having these experiences to help you in some way. And I think it's understanding that you're not absolutely alone, even though you feel alone. Mm.
And those falling figures absolutely represent that out of control momentum.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what they're there for. They're out of control. They can't control the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's the crown on top of the tower?
Well, it's it,
Yeah,
it's the ego. It's the ego.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It looks like it's an act of God, because you've got,
yeah,
it
yeah.
looks like
The
it's
lightning.
somewhere. It's an act of God, and then it's like a major tornado, whatever you want to call it. It's something, you are out of control of what's happening, that you have
Yeah,
not invited this in. Yeah, but you have to go through this to understand who you are and how resilient you are, and how incredible you are, to actually understand that this is just part of life's journey.
yeah. And it's testing the fool, isn't it? It's
Yes,
testing.
yes,
The fool's come to this point, like you say. It's testing the
yes.
fool's resilience. The fool. What has the fool learnt now to date so far on our journey so far, and how is the fool going to react? How is the fool going to um, come out of this period of change, this abrupt change that isn't necessarily welcome?
Absolutely. Do you meet the events that happen in your life with
Mm,
grace, or do you
mm,
you know do you fight against them? And you can't fight against the Tower card. It's
no,
That's really out of your control. Yeah.
definitely.
Okie doke. So he's had a bit of a bashing so far. He's
Yeah,
the devil, and now he's met the Tower. But after that, as I was saying, a year down the line,
calm comes after the storm. Yeah.
uh,
Oh, much better.
oh, it's just like, night and day, isn't it? And you've been through
Yeah,
the shit, and then you come,
yeah,
and it's just like, oh my gosh, I feel renewed. I feel like I
Yeah,
know who I am now. How do you
yeah.
read it?
Well, it's the calm after the storm, isn't it? Quite literally, it's the calm after the star is the calm after the storm. Am I right in saying that this astrologically is Aquarius?
Yes,
Is
yeah,
would
absolutely.
you right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's lovely. It's got the five rivers here, which represents the five senses. So this is all about the wisdom. It's all about integrating the lessons of life and just going, do you know what? I'm actually just passing through this life and I'm going to make the
Mm.
best of it that I can.
And the stars represent enlightenment,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
this
Yeah,
is what the full tower comes through after meeting the devil in the tower. Will
yeah,
become come out side with more enlightenment, and
yes.
it's very much a hopeful card, a card of hope,
It's a
hope for the future.
And also you've got the ibis sitting somewhere on the tree there. Can you see the ibis? And
Oh yes,
yeah, that represents that's the Egyptian god for immortality. So there is something, this sense of life goes on. You know, this is a stream of life's consciousness of coming here to experience the human condition. And you know what? You've taken your knocks and you've done your bits and you're coming out the other side, and it's suddenly you're at peace with who you are. You know you're indestructible. Even
to
if you're
celebrate your
not,
yeah,
you're
to
connected
celebrate your
greater.
authenticity. I feel. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Creative flow and inspiration as well. It's an
absolutely.
inspiring card, and the flow. I mean, visually, the flow of the water
Yeah.
is to encouraging your creative flow. Definitely.
And Aquarius carries
Yeah,
the water on their shoulder. They're an air sign, not a water sign, but that
yeah, I know. I find that
yeah, the water
interesting.
they carry on their shoulder is the water of universal wisdom. And
Yeah.
Aquarius is all about what is universal truth. And when you've had a right old bashing, you start to really question your understanding of the universe and of whatever God means to you, by the way. But it
Mm,
takes you deep inside yourself to have that. You turn knowledge into wisdom, and that's when you
yeah.
start really contributing to your community and to the world.
And when it turns up in a reading, it is there to give hope and to trust the process, to trust your inner wisdom, and as I said, trust your authenticity and the flow, the creative flow. It is, yeah, and it's a calming card. I feel after the tumultuous imagery and symbolism of what of the last two cards. It's just the polar opposite, the colours, the calmness, the water, which always represents calm. It's
Mm.
a nice card to appear, especially if somebody in a reading has just been through a difficult time or feels they're going through a difficult time. If the star shows up, then it's there to guide them that there is hope moving forwards. Which
Yes.
we all love a bit of hope, don't we, Sue? A very good part of the human condition is hope.
Well, sometimes it can feel a bit hopeless. So, you know, when you're actually reconnecting with hope and thinking, you know,
Yeah.
this is just life. This is part of the human condition. The journey of life is to
Yeah.
take the good and the bad, and the more difficult with the less challenging, and hope is there to guide you through. I just feel like it's a little tiny light in me that
Mm,
keeps me here and keeps me going forward in the day. Yeah.
definitely.
Anything
Yeah.
else you want to say about the?
Um, again, it's quite a spiritual card. It also represents psychic and spiritual guidance. We're back to that inner world. We've just taken the fall into an outer world,
Yeah.
and what the star is doing is reminding the fool that about their inner psychic ability, their inner personal development, pulling them back into that peaceful place of trust your authenticity, trust yourself, trust the process. Yeah, so that's how I would sum it. That's how I would sum it up in terms of our journey on
Yeah.
the steps of your life. A reminder, chilling reminder
Yeah.
that that's the phrase I was trying to think of. There's always light after the storm, isn't there? You know,
Always,
the sun comes out, and
always.
there's light after the storm,
Yeah.
and that's our life.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and the
so,
dark time is inevitable, it's part of all our journeys. It is part of our
yeah.
journey. It calls us out.
Interestingly, it's called the Star. It's a very light card, isn't it? It's not a star shining at night.
It's the
It's very, yeah. You'd imagine, because the star. Um, I mean, we're going to go on to the moon, which it clearly is at night. But stars generally come out at night. But I feel this is a very light and vibrant card that would almost be in the daytime. But we've got these
yeah,
amazing stars
yeah.
circulating.
Well, these represent the planets, the 7
Yeah,
senior planets round here. Yes. So the what for me it is, I've just been talking a lot recently about, the fact that we were created at the Big Bang. So we
yeah,
literally are stardust. And if we remember
mm,
we are created from stardust, I think that really helps us to kind of feel like, we're part of this incredible, alive, vibrant universe. We're
yeah.
not separate from it, we're part of it. And that's what the star, I think, for me, reminds me of. Okie
Oh, it's a good
dokie.
way
So,
today's session.
so we've done the devil, the tower, and the star. And next week, we're doing the moon, the sun, and judgment. And just to say to anybody who's watching, who's asked us to do the minor arcana, we will be talking about that when we finish the major arcana here. We'll be letting you know what we're going to be doing then. So for
Yeah.
now, take care and see you next time. Bye for now.